Jackson Radio Show.
We covered some topics that are a little bit controversial in sorts, and I always want to give you a little bit of a warning, a trigger warning, not because we're going to cover it in any crazy way, but because it is a bit of a sensitive topic. And some of the stations that we're on have a bit of a religious bent to them. And as you guys know, I'm a Christian, and certainly I call the show PG-13. I think your teenager could listen to this show and have a good laugh. And I don't feel like we do anything that crosses that line. But you never know what, offends different people's sensibilities. And this particular story is one that it doesn't cross the line, in my opinion. I think it highlights liberalism at its finest. It was an article in the Telegraph UK. And I don't remember the name of it, but it says, essentially it was feminist porn. And the lady who's they're interviewing says this, and I'm reading this. Once a director instructed me to wait 5 minutes and then fake an orgasm. Now, she's an adult film star. I said, give me an additional 5 minutes and I'll have a real one. To me, this is what the lady writes. To me, that's feminist porn in a nutshell. Now, here's the reason why I bring this up. So America's got a fascination with sex. It's part of our DNA. Everybody should have that. It's a natural thing. And most of us aspire to some sort of a moral standard, if you will. Society picks it for us. And I'll be honest with you, probably most people violate that to some degree. That's why we have divorce and, adultery, and we have words to describe all these things. But what's interesting to me is when you bring up the idea of porn, and the leftists have said, and these feminist leftists are saying this, there's feminist porn. There's porn. Now, I get it. There's gay porn, and there's different types of things that you may want to do, fetish, if you will. I understand it, but here's the net of it, folks. Porn is porn. And what amazes me is that there's a distinction being made here. They're separating feminists out. And let's just be honest here, since we're talking about the subject, and I want to cover it. I'll cover it delicately, but I want to cover it realistically. When you talk about, quote, porn, there's already a lot of gay porn, particularly, and I'll be honest, I've never been a aficionado of porn, but there's hardly any that you'd have where you don't see two women together or more. So from the standpoint of gay porn, and that's not male porn, I guess you could theoretically say it's lesbian porn, but you have that already. But now feminists say, no, there's a brand of porn that's about feminist. And I go, really? So the idea here, and I'm reading through the article and I'm trying to ascertain what they're trying to say, is that the reason that women decide they're going to go into the adult film industry, let's just start saying that so we can maybe soften the impact of the other word. But in the adult film industry is because supposedly they are empowered. They have control over who they decide they're going to, and I'm using my finger quotes, act with, and so on and so forth. In many cases, they've even taken over, and said, I know there's one group of women, because we did a story on this about 2-3 years ago, that they said, why are we letting men make all this money? We're the ones doing the work, the heavy lifting, so we'll form our own company. And they've done, I don't know, hundreds of films together. I don't know the details. And I'm going to tell you, my knowledge of the adult film industry is pretty limited. I would be considered a square. But when I saw this article, I thought, this is weird. Madison Young, they write, is unabashed in her enthusiastic description of life as a porn star. She's sitting in the middle of a Los Angeles cafe, not lowering her voice, even when she's talking about different types of sex. I won't say the one, but one of them she says is kinky sex. So she's very blatant. She's open. She's talking about it, and she feels empowered. Now, I don't know about you. I just think that's crass. I think if you're, just sitting around talking to your fellas about sex with girls, if you were in college, I find that crass. I've never been one to want to sit and listen to these guys talk about that. Maybe when I was really young and trying to impress people. Oh, yeah, whatever. But as I got older, I was like, man, that's kind of crass. I would actually say that. Why would you embarrass this girl talking about this? If she decides she wants to be with you, that should be enough. That's victory enough for you. But you got to come here and you got to brag, or you got to demean her or belittle her or whatever. I mean, come on. That was the way I felt about it. But anyway, this girl, she's sitting there and she's bragging about this. Oh yeah, I love it. And they said that her name is one that might make some nod their heads in acknowledgement, albeit discreetly. The amiable strawberry blonde born Tina Butcher became a pioneer of feminist porn 10 years ago. And here's what she says about it. Performing was a way to bring my feminist ethos into erotic film. She says of her rather controversial career choice. Now she's 36 years old. She's become an integral part of the sex positive movement that has been on the rise, they say, since the 80s. And it believes that sexual images can be a source of inspiration, liberation, and empowerment for viewers. Now, what's interesting to me is that the left will also tell you it objectifies women. Oh, but it doesn't objectify women when it's women doing it with women. Women putting it together or calling the shots. That's no longer I'm going to get it out here in a second. Objectification. But if men are in charge of the studio, then women are the objects. And that's what got me, is thinking about, why is it not just porn? It's feminist porn because women own it. And they're proud to own it. Guys are the ones that own it and say, do this, do that, or whatever. Even though the women have a choice, do they want to do the job? Do they want to work? Now it's got a whole different definition. And then here's how they go on to talk about it. Porn is being watched by women more than ever. In 2015, one of the world's most popular free sites, I'm not even going to say the name, which is visited by 156 million people every month, recently revealed that women make up a quarter of its global audience. So, and then they went on to talk about 50 Shades of Grey and all this. And again, I'm telling you right now, if you're a conservative listening to this and you're having a little bit of a queasy moment, don't, because you're being a fake. You believe in sex. You've had it. You will continue to. It's the way we view it. And here's a quick story, and I'm going to let this segment go. But a friend of mine, an acquaintance, I should say, she and her husband were in the adult film industry, and I didn't know it for a long time. And then one day we were talking, and she admitted, she was like, yeah, this is where we came from. And I was like, get out. Beautiful daughter. Daughter's going to an Ivy League school, and she says, I did that to pay for her education, and we couldn't wait to get out. But let me tell you, my daughter will never be in it. And this woman is a feminist. She is a God-fearing person who obviously extricated herself from that business, thankfully, and raised an amazing daughter. But it's funny how the left views these things.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.